Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. We're thrilled to be joined by Her Campus co-founder Windsor Hanger today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, can you give us the 60-second Her Campus pitch?
Sure. So if I'm on the clock now, Her Campus is a collegiate's guide to life. We're the #1 global community for college women, both online and offline. So if you imagine Glamour magazine, but for the college woman and all online, and pair that with a network of on-campus chapters at over 230 campuses worldwide, you get Her Campus Media. We've grown this over the past 5 years and are now one of the leading college marketing firms, as well as the largest online magazine for college women.
All right.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and so your growth has just been extraordinary. You're in over 230 colleges, 7 countries. You have over 4,000 contributors, like over 5 million page views a month. It's pretty crazy. So, I mean, with all this growth, how have you adapted your monetization process? Or your
Sure.
model?
So, yeah, absolutely. So it's been something that, of course, is ever evolving. Whenever there are ways to, figuring out ways to monetize your company is one of the biggest challenges, and I think one of the most important things that you can do, because the difference between an idea and a business is how you make money, right? So when we first started out, we had some very simplistic ideas, let's say, about doing new types of banner ads, or, we're really just focused on traditional ways that people were monetizing the web. And what we quickly realized was that not only is that A, not sustainable because, CPMs are dropping, B, banner ads really aren't that interesting. I ignore them. I'm sure you guys do too. And then C, there is a much bigger need within the market for effective college marketing. So the way that we developed our monetization strategy was really listening to the clients that came to us and said, I really want to do X on college campuses, or my college marketing strategy is Y, and here are all of the issues that I'm having with it. Can you help us? And so our whole business plan and business strategy really developed from clients, meaning companies that want to market to college students coming to us and saying, help, can you do this? And us just always saying, yes. So it's been, it's been really fabulous. We're right now growing out our sales team internally. And, one of the big things that we think about is switching from organic growth with the company, which was clients coming to us. We got a lot of press, and so we had all these companies all the time calling us and emailing us and saying, help us with our college marketing, which was fabulous, which was a great way to grow organically. But now we're switching to a much more proactive model where we're going after certain companies and saying, you guys really should market with us, and here are all the reasons why.
So the three of you in the past 5 years have received so many accolades, too many to list right now. But most recently, you were named one of Forbes' top 100 websites for women, and you guys were named Small Business of the Year in Boston. So both tremendous accomplishments. As leaders for entrepreneurs in college and graduating from college, especially for young women, what's one piece of advice, Windsor, you can give them that's changed how you see business?
Sure. So I think with business, or especially starting a business, because that's really my area of expertise, I like to say stop thinking and start doing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean not to think about what you're doing. It just means that I think people, especially women, spend a lot of time thinking through their ideas and really trying to make sure they're perfected before they launch anything. So I like to envision if your business is your baby, right? Because you spend so much time, you create it and then you want to take care of it. Women have a tendency to want to make sure the baby is perfect before showing it to anybody, right? Where what you want is to say, no, here's my business, here's what I am, here's what I do, and then get feedback from people. And a lot of times it won't be good feedback, but that's much more helpful because then you can take what works, what doesn't work, most importantly, change that about your business and continue to improve upon your business.
So when you go into that start doing model, which is great, what can you recommend for entrepreneurs who have 5 different ideas that they need to work on and they feel like they're all equally important, but they're not sure where to start?
So that's a common issue with a lot of entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs they're ideas people, they're passionate, they're generally passionate about a lot of different things at the same time. So say you have these 5 different ideas, I think that the one you're going to be the most successful with is the one that you're actually the most passionate about. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between having a good idea that's right for you to pursue and just a good idea, because I think I have lots of good ideas in areas in which I have zero expertise. And that's going to make it very hard for me to execute on those ideas. So I think look at the ideas that you have, think about the one that resonates most strongly with you, think about the one that aligns most clearly with your areas of expertise, your areas of interest. Because if you're not passionate about it and if you wouldn't use, say, the service yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to communicate to other people to use that service. That's why, I started Her Campus when I was in college. I also had this other idea for a vertical gardening infrastructure that you could implement in slums in developing countries, right? Which was a great idea, and I was working on this, but the one that I'm now doing full time is the one that I had more, passion for, and also, more of an area of expertise in.
I've been struggling to answer that question the past 2 weeks that I've been working full time, so you just helped me so much.
Oh, good. I'm very glad to hear that.
In addition to kicking butt in business, you're also the mavens of journalism. How do you stand out amongst everyone else?
So I think you really have to know who your audience is and not try to pander to everyone. Because, and at the beginning, we got some negative feedback, and it was very hard to not say, oh, you don't like that about my website? Like, you don't like this about the content that I'm producing? I'll change it, because you don't want people to dislike you. You want to make everyone happy. But if you try to cater to everyone and you try to make everyone interested in your content, no one is going to be interested in your content. So the key to really having a website that people want to read and producing content that's relevant to people is knowing who you're writing for, knowing who that person is. And, that's who we've defined as our collegiate. So we're a collegiate's guide to life. And so we've identified this is our girl, this is who we're writing for, this is who's going to read and understand and love our content. And if you don't like our content, you're probably not a collegiate and you should go read something else.
Let's shift gears for a second and talk about partnerships, because that, as you said, is a really big part of the Her Campus model. So you guys have partnered with Self, USA Today, American Express, American Apparel, the list goes on. Can you tell us about your strategic planning when you go into these partnerships, both as a brand going to make a partnership and when brands come to you to make partnerships?
Sure. So there are 2 things. We can think about partnerships, and then we can think about clients and sponsorships. So I'm going to talk about partnerships because it is very different. In one, there's an exchange of money, and in the other, there's just an exchange of value. So for a partnership, there's an exchange of value. A good example of that, would be, say, our partnership with 17 Magazine or with Teen Vogue, with a lot of the big media partners that we have. And the way that you think about it going into it, or when someone approaches you, is that no one's going to do business to be nice, right? You might want to think, oh, they're a nice person, I'm a nice person. We'll have a partnership because we want to be friendly and we want to be friends. Hate to break it to you, but that's not the way business is done. If the partnership doesn't really benefit me and really benefit you, then it's not going to work and it's not going to go through. Or if it is, say, I'm actually just doing this to be nice, it'll be a one-time thing and won't be something that I'll put a lot of energy and time into. So when someone approaches you and says they want to partner, it's really important to first off identify what can you gain from this partnership? What would be valuable to you? And it might be as simple as they have a great reputation within the space. They have a great name, and I would like to be aligned with them. We'll do a press release and say that Her Campus is partnering with 33 founders, and, I respect, who you guys are and what you guys stand for, and that's enough for me, right? Or it might be that you have a very specific goal in mind. So I'm really trying to grow my email list, for example. So if I'm going to partner with you, I need to find out a way to get more email addresses and to get more people to subscribe to my email list. And vice versa, I want to know what you want out of this partnership, because that's how we're going to be able to best come to an agreement.
Well, we're really looking forward to partnering with you, and we're so glad you agreed to do that on this call today. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome.
So, how has content marketing evolved since your days working with Freeze?
So much. So when we were working with Freeze, I mean, it was a student publication that we had taken over from an older student. And in terms of content marketing and native advertising, I mean, it was just the very beginning. The web is like the wild, wild west, and we're still just now starting to put down some foundations. But it was interesting to see that if you thought about advertorials and you thought about native pieces back in the day, meaning like 5 years ago, a lot of it would be, in a different color, in a different font. Let's say in a magazine, it might, look completely different and say advertorial across the top or advertisement across the top, and it would be written by the advertiser, and it would be in the same place as an ad. It would just be text-based instead of image-based, right? So that was the beginning. That was less effective. And what we're realizing now is that as long as the content is as good or better than the rest of the content on your site, your readers generally don't care if someone's paying for it, as long as you're still staying true to yourself and to your brand. You can't be dishonest. You can't do a brand with content advertising, support them, a brand that you don't really believe in. Your readers, will see straight through that. So it really has evolved from, ad in text form to a really natural organic integration of the brand's messaging within your content. BuzzFeed does it really well, with sponsored viral stories where it'll be, recipes that, you are going to want to make you eat right now, and it's sponsored by Pillsbury, right? People don't care that Pillsbury is paying for it because you still want to read about that and makes you want to eat all of those things, right? So as long as the content's still really good, people are realizing that it's okay to put a brand behind it. And I think that's the big change.
Speaking of content, for her campus, I know you guys use analytics to decide which to post, and you guys are really active on social media to see what collegiates want to read about. Although it seems simple when Zora, post what's popular, this is the big question. How can we make content go viral? Can you run us through your process?
Sure. So it's my business partner Stephanie's process, but I do observe it. So what we see is that you can't ever predict that an article is going to go viral. You can't say, oh, people are really going to love this, the top 11 dessert creations, ever made, right? With the cronut as number one. Like, you can't predict if that's going to go viral versus, the top 10 signs that you're mourning college graduation. So it's important just to look at what's worked in the past. There's some things that we know are just going to be slam dunks that we've realized you never could have predicted, but Disney princesses, for example, our readers love Disney princesses and Disney princess articles. I mean, it'll probably do really well. They love funny things. They love short things. The listicles, BuzzFeed-esque, do really well. But it's also, we have pieces that are very, somewhat controversial, pieces about current events at different colleges that are also, going to go viral and do really well. The thing is, you can't predict it, so all you can do is look at what's performed well in the past, what have your readers shown that they're interested in, and then try to create content along those same lines. You can't take the same idea and then, do 10 more delicious desserts, right? Because that gets boring and that gets tired. So it has to be something related tangentially, and let's say inspired by previous articles. So all of our pitches come in from our writers. So they're all of our writers are current college students, and that's really important for us because I started this 5 years ago, which means I've been out of college for 4 years now. I'm married. I'm in a very different place in my life than I was when I was a college senior, and so I have a good idea of what's going to be relevant on college campuses, but my writers have a great idea. They're on college campuses, right? So it's very important for us to make sure that all of the article pitches are coming in from our college-aged writers and that we're reviewing them, going through them, and then using our analytics to select the best pitches and then put those forward through the editorial calendar.
And for content platforms, what is the best way you suggest to engage with your readers, to see what they thought about an article, what they'd like to see next? Because I think creating that conversation, whether it's on your website or on social media platforms, is the best way to engage with users, but it's also really difficult.
So that's a great question. And we've implemented social commenting. So our commenting system is done through Facebook, which means it shows up whenever someone comments on their own Facebook profile. And also it means it has to be a real person using their real name to comment on your articles, because that way people are only going to comment if they feel very passionately about something, and if they're also willing to stand behind their conversation and what they're saying. So that was a great change for us. And the way that we find that people are reacting well is if they're sharing it. A share on social, whether it's Twitter, Pinterest, or Facebook, is really the best indicator that someone loves the article and needs their friends to share it. Whether they share it on a specific person's wall or blast it out for everyone to read, that's the best indicator that they love it. So you can really just look at the prevalence of shares versus no shares, rather than, people writing you, I really didn't like this article. That doesn't really happen.
So let's look ahead, Windsor, and see what's next for Her Campus. Can you leave your users with any new features that the team is rolling out, or some insights on the book or upcoming conferences?
Yeah, so we are working on a redesign of the website right now. The date to be determined. I'm not sure if we've told anyone else this yet, so this could be a 33 Founders exclusive. But we're working on a responsive site. So right now there are two different versions of the site. There's the desktop and then the mobile version, and they look very different. Mobile is very flipbook based, and then desktop is what desktop is. But we're working on a responsive site where the number of, if you know what responsive is, you know what I'm about to say, but the number of columns changes depending on the width of your device. So if you're looking on an iPad, it might be 2 columns wide, a laptop 3 columns wide, or an iPhone 1 column wide, but it's the same content. It just reconfigures around the page. So we're very excited about launching that. We're also in the midst of launching some new or redesigning some of the other properties. We just redesigned hercampusshop.com. We're going to have a much bigger focus on our e-commerce side. Really excited about all of the new products in there and continuing that redesign, continuing to line up new products. We also just launched collegefashionweek.com. So that's big, for our big College Fashion Week program we do every fall. In the past, collegefashionweek.com has redirected to our fashion section and all of the College Fashion Week content within Her Campus, but we've just launched collegefashionweek.com as a standalone website. So we're really excited about that. And so as we continue under the Her Campus media umbrella to develop Her Campus Shop, College Fashion Week, and of course hercampus.com, it's really evolving into a much larger media company that goes beyond just hercampus.com, but continues to focus on that college woman.